So my sister for Christmas, she got me these really cute magnetic bookmarks. And I opened, one of my favorite books I'm always showing y'all, A Course in Miracles, earlier today. And I was like, let me just put this bookmark on this page. I didn't look at it. And I just opened it now and I wanted to share some with you because I thought it was beautiful, of course. You will first dream of peace and then awaken to it. Your first exchange of what you made for what you want is the exchange of nightmares for the happy dreams of love. Everything the ego tells you that you need will hurt you, for although the ego urges you again and again to get, it leaves you nothing. For what you get, it will demand of you, and even from the very hands that grasp it, it will be wrenched and hurled into the dust. For where the ego sees salvation, it sees separation. And so you lose whatever you have gotten in its name. Therefore ask not of yourself what you need, for you do not know, and your advice to yourself will hurt you. For what you think you need will merely serve to tighten up your world against the light and render you unwilling to question the value that this world can really hold for you. Therefore not ask your advice. Serve to tighten up the world against the light. Tension. Tension in the body, tension in the muscles leads to loss of minerals at a fast rate. And this is, I've started to call sacred depletion. When we lose minerals, the body goes into a stress response. And all of this could happen just from your thoughts. But you can aid yourself during stressful time periods in your life through eating mineral-dense foods. I'm really biased to amino and fatty acids, the highest sources of those foods, which is animal-based proteins. Dr. Gabrielle Lyon is a great source to check out. A lot of people are really stuck on food groups and macros. It's more than macros. This is genetic code for light. This is mitochondria function. It will merely serve to tighten. The ego serves to tighten up your world against the light and render you unwilling to question the value that this world can really hold for you. God, you deserve the love. You deserve to feel love. You deserve to feel at peace in your body. Peace in your body is your birthright. Yet, can you find yourself in such a world? Anyway, that was a little tidbit from A Course in Miracles. I'll see if anything else kind of jumps out at me before we go. Or actually, sometimes I get nervous to read from this because it talks a lot about God and the Holy Spirit, and so it's like, oh, I don't really consider myself religious, right? But like, I really like this book. So in religion was designed to actually teach health. This is how I view it. Religion was designed to teach health. I had this realization when I was reading this really popular book from the 70s called The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. I would have never read it at the time. I considered myself kind of atheist. I would have never read this book had I known that it would talk about religion in any way. And in the book, it talked about how health, the power of positive thinking, religion was designed to put us into a state of health within the mind. And everything just started, like, the Holy Spirit is what they refer to as the breath. They call, like, being tight in the body cuts you off from the quantum field, everything that's around us. And they call the quantum field God. It's the omnipresent field that surrounds us. And there's tons of information within this field. And when we're tight and tense and mineral deficient, we're not open to the miracles. We're not open to being in connection with our Creator. We have separated ourselves and thought of ourselves as less than, even unconsciously. So why I pulled up the brainwave states too is because in this delta wave sleep state, it's that sleep state of night where we relax and our heart rate slows down, our body temperature slows down, our respiratory rate, the Holy Spirit Everything slows down, but so much is happening in this period of what would look like rest. Like the immune system is going, especially within the brain. It's being cleaned out, consolidated. Anything that doesn't need to be there. Immune function. Melatonin is one of the largest tumor suppressors. It's the balancer between our nervous systems of fight or flight and rest and digest. Melatonin we make in the sun. We make from the amino acid tryptophan that breaks down into serotonin and melatonin. I'm just like a broken record with all these things, but if you're new here, I love you. And this means a lot to me. So that's why I don't tend to read a whole lot from A Course in Miracles. Like I'll pick certain things because I know like I had a really tough time with religion and like the word God for a really long time. Anything that sounded religious, it was like it rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, don't put this in my face. Until I started realizing that it was all the biology, which is just so beautiful. This page that I open up to, chapter 13, Peace, on page 187. In peace, there is no longer any conflict. There is a total absence of negativity and an all-encompassing lovingness that is experienced as serenity, tranquility, timelessness, completion, fulfillment, stillness, and contentment. There is an inner quiet and light, a feeling of oneness, unity, and total freedom. The peace is, the peace is imperturbable. Like it cannot be destroyed, imperturbable. I like that word. Actions become effortless, spontaneous, harmonious, and loving in their effect. There is a shift of perception of the universe and of our relationship to it. The inner self, capital self, prevails. The personal self has been transcended. The ego, with all of its feelings, beliefs, identities, and concerns. This is the ultimate state sought by all seekers, whether they are religious, humanist, or have no spiritual or philosophical identification at all. The profound impact of peace. I don't know if I even shared the book. This is Letting Go by Dr. David Hawkins, Pathway of Surrender. One of my favorite books I probably read in the last year or two. I don't really remember when I first read it, but I know it was good. We have all had moments of profound peace where time and the world seemed to suddenly stop, and we have come into contact with the infinite. In recent years, there have been a number of books about the near-death experience. Under various circumstances, this experience has happened to people who have died and then returned to the body. Characteristically, their lives have been transformed by the experience, and they never forget it. Their vision of the world, its significance and personal significance, and it has changed considerably. With continual surrender, we begin to experience these states of peace with an everlasting frequency. At times they may become quite profound and of greater and greater duration. When the clouds are removed, the sun shines forth, and we discover that peace was the truth all along. It was always there. It was always there. When the clouds are removed, the sun shines forth, and we discover that peace was the truth all along. Surrender is the mechanism that uncovers the true nature of our existence. When a person is in a state of peace, they test strong with kinesiology, and nothing makes them weak, whether this is mental, emotional, or physical. There is no longer identification with the body as ourself, and physical disorders may or may not be healed. We are indifferent to them. Physical concerns have lost any significant meaning. With the experience of inner peace comes great strength. So strong. You're so strong, so beautiful, and so intelligent, and so full of love, and literally emitting so much light all the time. There is so much light. I made a video earlier today. The enemy does not want you to be using your mitochondria. Like, I think it's interesting. Otto Warburg's work, he found that mitochondrial dysfunction was the secondary cause of all cancers, or at least most of them. And then secondary cause of all disease states is nutrient depletion. So make sure you get your fatty acids. Your mitochondria need them. They do need them. Lysine and methionine. Google what are the highest foods containing lysine and methionine, and go a step further. Go into what you're afraid of. What is the nutrition of red meat? What is the amino acid structure of red meat? Go into Googling vegan diets versus animal protein based diets, carnitine synthesis. I found that really interesting when I looked at the biochemistry, some studies they published. Animal-based protein eaters had higher amounts of carnitine production. Carnitine is the second step of the electron transport chain inside each mitochondria. There's only 3 in this cell here, but in some cells like brain cell, liver cell, these major organ centers, they say they have a lot more. Mitochondria can actually create more of themselves. They can replicate themselves, clone themselves. They have their own DNA. So let's say you have this cell, it could be, they call senescent cells a dead cell, right? Zombies, okay? Mitochondria might not be working, right? So I'm only having the DNA influence from this half working cell, right? Okay, nobody's doing their job in the cell. So, all the work is put on your back. You're going to get tired, This cell starts to just operate from a place of total fatigue. And like a brown leaf on a plant, it's not entirely gone, but it is influencing the strength of the whole. But then let's say you start building your mitochondria powerhouse of the cell. You go out in the sunlight, you're exercising, you're meditating, accepting, reading this book. Maybe not. Communicating with your mitochondria, and you start creating more of them. They're working really well, so they start creating more of themselves. And you'll notice this because it's like your capacity to put on muscle. Like muscle, physically, if you look at someone and they have more muscle in their body, it's just they have more mitochondria. Like there's more synthesis being done. There's more cells working at a higher energetic load. Mitochondria, they say that the powerhouse of the cell. So someone muscle is our largest glucose uptake key of the body. It's known as the endocrine organ. We lose our longevity is based off of our muscle strength. Our aging patterns are based off of muscle strength. And they're the biggest oxygen regulators, which is a big deal, and also in terms of cancer, because cancer does energy production. How Otto Warburg was talking about it, the pathway that doesn't use mitochondria use oxygen. They like oxygen. And then there's this other pathway, fermentation, very acidic pathway, that a lot of cancer cells will turn on the usage of glycolysis, and it will throw off the entire pH of the body if it's really acidic. And the mitochondria aren't working, and there's just not a whole lot of energy production. It becomes super acidic, super inflamed, super fatigued, and it's just metabolic waste is sitting. It's like leaving your dishes in the sink and just having them back up. The energy's not flowing, it's not moving. So anyway, that's what I was thinking about. Just how beautiful you are. That's really it. It's as simple as that. You're right where you're supposed to be. Every single, what I was thinking about earlier. Like everything in the cell is perfectly designed, like with a purpose. Everything in the cell, as small as it is designed with a purpose. It is a miracle that we have trillions of these cells that make up our entire body, the one that we look at in the mirror. And I was thinking about this in terms of, I wanted to mention, I got really into astrology a few years ago, and same thing, like our creator, attention to detail is everything. Like the planets, our bodies, everything is in its right place at the right time. And They say that all we need to do is accept where we are, to let go. You know, sometimes you wake up and you're like disappointed where you are in life. You're like, I should be here. I should have done this instead of this. I should have gone right instead of going left. And I thought I would accomplish more. Or, you know, you just wish to be somewhere that you're not. And that's like a depression in the body. And it's like a tension, a state of tension, you know? And it's like, you're right where you're supposed to be, honestly, because we don't know what could happen tomorrow. That's what this book is, A Course in Miracles. We don't know what we can happen tomorrow. In the state of energy that we hold in our bodies is like what we attract from future instances. So if you're always stressed, you're going to walk in the room and stress everyone out, and you're going to attract stressful situations, because misery loves company. But if you're in a state of joy, like, you know, thank God that didn't work out, like, for whatever reason, like, because something else within my day, like, it just wouldn't be the same. I wouldn't have the opportunity to do this. And what happened was, in my mind, it popped up. If you are in a really dark place, go towards the light with your food options, especially food is medicine. Food is so powerful. It is powerful, powerful medicine. It's actually where all of our medicines only exist because we found out and discovered what nature is made of. What is this food made of? How can I target these healing pathways and sell it to people in a pill form? Well, I honestly have to study biochemistry and nutrition to understand these pathways. That's why a lot of the food scientists, they can make things taste so delicious, because it stimulates pathways that, in a sense, tricks our brain. But you can't be tricked when you go into the sunlight. When you go into the sunlight is the truth, the light. When we go signal to our brain, the brain sends a signal down to our major organs. Peace on earth, heaven on earth, bring light. The kingdom is within. Bring the light in. If you don't foster the light, you're fostering the darkness. You know? Anyway, I'm going to go. I love you so much. I hope that you write down your dreams, because they're telling you things that no one else knows. Nobody else can profit off of your dreams. They are messages and love letters from your own subconscious. So write down your dreams, pay attention to them, and yeah, I wish you the best of luck. I will catch you later.